Okay, so hello there, everyone. Good to be with you again for this week's Fueling Your Faith, and trying just to encourage you, to help you to use this just as a spark to encounter God and to be with Him, really. So this morning, we're going to carry on just with this thing. I introduced it last week. We're going to carry on just this looking at who God is. And after a few weeks, what we're going to do then is we're going to go into who God says you are. So just a few weeks of those kinds of things. Looking through that, this is transformative stuff, guys. This is the kind of thing which really helps us understand. You know, in Romans 12:2, it talks about renewing your mind, making your mind like Christ's mind, making yourself getting into that place of correct thinking and understanding of who God is. So this is really important. You know, Tauser talks about the whole deal, that what we believe about God being the most important thing about us. And Bill Johnson says that, you know, the way we understand God is actually the way we represent Him. So if we see God as this big kind of judgmental figure in heaven with a big beard and kind of just not really caring about life, well, hey, that's how we're going to represent God to others. But if we understand Him in terms of He truly is, then that's how we're going to represent Him to others. And certainly one of the biggest deals is that we can use our experiences of those characteristics which are represented on earth. So, you know, when we understand God's goodness, we understand goodness, and so we represent that. We understand God is far above that. And today, I want to look at one of the most just simple concepts that I think every Christian grasps and understands, but really to delve a little bit deeper into that. And the fact is that God is love. Now, by definition, God is love. 1 John 4:8 says, anyone who does not love God does not know God, because God is love. Because God is love. The very definition of love, every experience of love that we have is in some way an experience of God's love. It's kind of replicating who God is, every aspect of love that we understand. And in the Bible, there are just so many different ways that love is portrayed and communicated. Just to give you a few, so in Hebrew, there's a word called Agape, which is used quite a lot, and that indicates kind of like this intense, close emotional bond. A real kind of, wow, this is, I really love this person. So Abraham loved his son. Israel loved Joseph. God loves us. It's used in the Song of Song as well, Song of Solomon and Song of Song, whatever one you call it, whichever one you want to call it. But it's just in there. God loves us. There's this longing, this emotional bond between God and us that we kind of see on earth. It's kind of like that bond between a parent and a child, or between lovers, that close emotional bond of, wow, I love this person. And that's how God loves. Then if we move into the Greek, there's several Greek words. There's agape, which is unconditional love, preferential love. So not just kind of like, you know, an emotional love, but actually this, I'm gonna show you preference because I love you, that preferential, that lifting up kind of love. And unconditional, not based upon anything that you've done, not based upon something that you are, just because God loves you. So there's that love there. Then there's agape, probably one of the words we understand quite a lot if you've been around church a little while, but it's that love based upon a deep appreciation for that person, an understanding of who they are, and a real love for them, real care towards them. So there's a sacrificial element to this as well. It's like putting the other person first. God has this love for humanity. It talks about it in Romans 5:8. He has this love that cannot be split. We cannot asunder it. We cannot take it away. In Romans 8:35, it talks about the fact that nothing can separate us from the love of God. It's this love, this love based upon deep appreciation for us. And then lastly, there's this filio love, which is also a friendship or a fondness or a delight. Isn't that lovely? You know, that is a friendship of God. There's this love there. So John 5:20 says that God has this love towards his son. He's fond of his son. He delights in his son. And what's important is that we don't think of these as just kind of things up there, but actually understand this is how God loves you. So he loves you with an intense emotional bond. He's got that connection to you. He treats you like a dear son. He loves you with an intensity. Jesus talks about the bride of Christ being the church. That's how he loves the church as a lover. It's like this intense love that's there. The agape, the unconditional love, it does not matter about what you do. God loves you. He absolutely, he just lavishes love upon you. That's who he is. He's this Father who loves you, and it's a love that is just a deep love, a sacrificial love, so deep and sacrificial that God sent his only Son because God so loved the world. So hey, that's God is love. I just encourage you now just to spend some time with him. Just close your eyes right now where you're at and just know this: God is love. I just release a blessing of God's love over you. Just let that wash over you. You may have experienced love in different formats from husbands, from wives, from boyfriends, from girlfriends, from parents, from brothers or sisters or friends. But actually that love of God, that's like, that's just a tiny echo of the love that God has for you right now. And I just see a release of love over you. Just a release of deep understanding of how much the depth of love of God goes. That it's beyond anything that you've experienced today. It's far deeper. It's better than anything you can imagine, the love of God. So I just bless you just with the presence of God and an experience of his love right now over you. Bless you. Hey, just keep enjoying his presence. Enjoy his love today and this week. Bye-bye.